All right. Good evening, and welcome back to PVR. We've got season 1, we're up to round 11, and we are underway in qualifying. Gab leading the top of the table down here in Abu Dhabi, currently on a 1 minute 22.2, followed by Zain Tatus, absolutely dominating stuff from him so far. Joined the league down in round 8 in Netherlands, got himself a P1. Down in Austria, got himself onto P2, and then of course in Singapore, taking P1 once again, and he's right up there with Mari Pinkai in P3 currently with 77 points. And can he put that car on pole position once again and maybe potentially lead this championship? Absolutely phenomenal stuff here by Zain Tatus, and let's not forget Gav having an absolute stellar of a race down in Singapore, snatching himself a P3 on debut. He's got provisional pole at the moment. J Horse finding himself in P3, followed by War Daddy, Derry in P5, PVR Lucas, Kerry Cass, and where is Pink Eye? Currently second in the championship, and Mari yet to do an outlap. So championship leader Mari and second in the championship Pink Eye yet to set a time. Telemetry does go on, and I think they are about to start their first flyers. Out on track will be Pink Eye, making his way down into 1 now. It's going to be flat out through 2, flat out through 3 and 4, of course. And now it's going to be hard on the brakes down into the first hairpin section of turn 5. Gets hard onto the brakes, turns in a little bit too sharp, gets onto the throttle, down the back straight he goes. DRS will be activated, and Pink Eye is off for a flyer. Who will be the next driver to cross the finish line for a new flyer? Will it be Marty? I assume it will. He's now going down into turns 15. He's going to be going just dab on the brakes, get onto the throttle as soon as possible. Down the main straight he goes, and that will be a new provisional pole position for Marty. He out-qualifies Gav by almost 1/10 of a second. Next across the finish line will be the Haas driver of Kerry Cass, already 3.6 tenths improvement on his time. Can he get that Haas up the order and potentially up into the top 3 as he now makes his way out of 15 onto the throttle, dab on the brakes, attack the apex on exit and entry. He's crossing the finish line now, goes into the top 5, Kerry Cass. Next across the line will be the Alfa Romeo. No, it's going to be the Red Bull. No, McLaren. Yes, McLaren off Pink Eye, and he only goes P5, but still has more time to go out on a brand new set of softs. Going to the Red Bull driver of Zain Tatus, I believe it is. Yes, it is. He's currently on a flyer. Can he retake provisional pole? Yes, he can. And he delivers on that last lap on a 1 minute 21.8. Great stuff from him. And of course, only raced 3 times in PVR thus far. Got himself to the top step of the podium twice. And already on to provisional pole he goes on a 1 minute 21.8, the first drivers into the 1 minute 28. And he is out qualifying Marty by, it looks to be 3/10 of a second. And look at Derry down at P8, already 1.1 second down the pace. And that's going to take some time to beat as Zain Tatus puts on a stellar of a lap. Onto provisional pole he goes. Now going to Marty, the championship leader, of course. Currently sitting on 89 points. Goes into the pits, and Pink Eye on 84 points. Only 5 points clear of Marty. And then Zain Tatus, ever since he made his debut down in Netherlands, started with 0. Already third in the championship with 77 points, and Bacardi hunting him down on 72. Going to the Mercedes driver of, no, it'll not be the Mercedes driver, it will be Stead, currently sat in P14, crosses the line, starts a new flyer right about now, and the McLaren behind him jumps into the pits. What about the Ferrari? Coming into turn 15 right now, it's going to be wat sê jy? Waar is hy? Jy kan nie alleen ry nie. En dan klim jy uit en wat dan? Beloof? Nou, en sluit die deure. Okay, love you, bye. All right, The Marv now currently on his outlap in that Mercedes, currently sat in P11, and Bacardi, who's currently, I believe, fourth in the championship, only good enough for P12 for the moment on a 123.3. Is there anybody that is currently on a flyer? I think it will be the Alpine driver of It's Going to Be Stead. Yes, he is definitely on a flyer, now making his way into the difficult couple of corners under the Yas Marine Hotel. He goes now off turns 13, turns 14, get on top to the throttle, little bit of wheel spin, but here you go, flat out through 15 he goes, and he will make his way into the pits, as that time will definitely not be good enough for him. Goes into the pits. Good evening, Bacardi, and I'm hoping to see you get out of that P12 position for the moment. The Mercedes driver of that will be Marv, just having a little bit of a Sunday cruise, just going into the pits for a brand new set of softs before he goes out and hopefully get that car up into the top 10. Any drivers that is currently on a flyer, I believe it's only a couple of drivers like Gav, currently sat in P3, just on an outlap, warming up those tires, now making his way down the Marina Straight before going into turns 9 out of sector 2. As we will now hop on board with Marv as he goes down, foot to the floor, attack the apex, on entry and exit, runs a little bit too narrow, has to lift too much on the throttle, that will compromise a little bit of lap time, going into 2, going into 3, get out of the way, he says, I'm on an outlap, and I want to get that car up into the top 10, now make his way into the hard braking zone, dab on the brakes, down onto the throttles, now go up the gears, down the floor, and he goes down the back straight. DRS will be activated, and will this be an improvement on his first sector time? He makes his way down the back straight, on his way to the West Grandstand, dabs onto the brake, hards this time, downs the gears once more, runs beautifully over the apex into the chicane section, now down back onto the throttle, and will this be an improvement on the sector 2 time? We'll have to wait as he now goes down the Marina Straight. He's going, and it's only improvement by almost 1/10 of a second. That will not be good enough for a top 5 start. Now makes his way out of 9, flat out through 10, dab on the brakes through 11. Turns into 13, that's way too narrow for his liking. Just dab onto the throttle once more through 14. Flat out through 15 he goes, attacks the apex on entry and exit, dab on the brakes, get onto the throttle. What time will this be? He crosses the line, stays P11. As Kato now makes his way out of the final bend, and he starts a brand new flyer, who is currently setting the pace. It's going to be Kirby in that Red Bull, followed by Kirst as well in that Mercedes, and that's good improvement on his time, but of course he is currently sitting on a 2-minute lap time, having a couple of mistakes, hard on the brakes, into the chicane section of turns 8 and 9, 6 and 7. Down the Marina Straight he goes, DRS is activated. Who's next to cross the finish line? I did see purple sectors from Kerry Cass. He improves by almost 3/10 of a second. Will this be good enough for provisional pole position? Just jumping a little bit up the order to see if anybody is currently on a flyer. It won't be Pink Eye. It's going to be J-Horse as he crosses the line, and he puts that Alfa Romeo of his up into P4. As we now head back to it's going to be Kerry Cass as he crosses the line, and it's only going to be good enough for P6 for Kerry Cass. Pink Eye already improving on his time by almost 1/10 of a second, currently sat in P7, and as he makes his way almost with tracking validations down the back straight. What about the Red Bull? I think this is Kirby about to finish his flyer, but it's not very good improvements. Will it be into the top 15? Will it be? No, yes, into the top 15 he goes. And that's qualifying over for him. Now, the Alpha Tauri boys, who is second in the Constructors' Championship, it's going to be War Daddy, who's going to go good enough for P5. What a great start. What a great lap that was from War Daddy, who was second down in Netherlands. Can he return to the podium once more? Bacardi, your champion, not championship leader, fourth in the Constructors. Bacardi goes P11. Fourth in the Drivers' Championship, my mistake. First in the Constructors. Next to cross the finish line, Marv goes into the pits. What about Pink Eye? Is he crossing the line now? Pink Eye does improve on his time, but it was a lap invalidation, and that will be no good. Pink Eye's qualifying session ends, and here, second in the championship, will have to start in P8. What about the Mercedes now? Cursed. That will not be an improvement on his time, and that's his qualifying over. So, Zentatus is currently sat on provisional pole, and the only one that can deny him that will be J-Horse, but he ran with track invalidations, and that's qualifying done and dusted. Zentatus leaving off, carrying on where he left off in round 8, in round 9, in round 10. He is on pole position, followed by Gab, who was third down in Singapore. And this is going to be a race to remember, because starting in P3 will be an extremely quick Marty, championship leader. Strategies will be very, very interesting to see who's going to opt for what strategy, who's going to be brave and bold and aggressive to potentially start on the soft compound tires. Will anyone play the long game and go on to the hards? But I think the majority of these drivers will opt for the set of medium compound tires, and that's qualifying done and dusted. Zentatus, well, carrying on where he left off with remarkable pace. He slots in pole position on a 121.8. 2 tenths down the road from him will be Gav, who had a remarkable race down in Singapore. P3 now starts on the front row of this grid. Marty, championship leader, will have to settle for the second row of the grid with J-Horse. On the third row will be War Daddy and Lucas. On the fourth row, Kerry Cass with second in the championship, none other than Pink Eye. On the fifth row of this grid, Dairy and Stead, followed by Bacardi, fourth in the championship in that Ferrari, followed by Utkar. They are leading the Constructors' Championship, but only starting P11 and P12 for the moment. It's going to be a race to remember, and we are moments away from those lights going off. So I'm not too certain if we will have a formation lap. If we do, I will run you down with some track info. If we do not, then we can get this race started. It's going to be none other than Zentatus starting from P1, and he will have to defend that inside line going into a very quick turn 1, as we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I hope you guys are ready for this, because we are racing under the lights down in Abu Dhabi. Who got the better start? It looks like Zentatus got a brilliant start, followed by Gav, who has to just slot behind him. And what about the rest of the pack? It looks like everybody got away smoothly, but Lucas and War Daddy making contact with one another, and Lucas spins around, and where's that damage? Making contact with War Daddy going into 2, and Gav is now trying to make the move on Zentatus, but here comes Marty around the inside with a beautiful exit on those set of medium tires. Gav playing the long game on those softs. No, on the hards, my mistake, on the hards, and now they're gaining on Zentatus. They're gaining. Will he go late on the brakes? No, he won't. He will have to settle for P2, but Marty unleashing with ERS, and he puts that car up into P2. Gav has to concede. J-Horse, Pink Eye already up into P5. What a start from him, followed by Daddy. Kurz going at it with Bacardi, started in P11, already up into P9. Where's Tater? Where's Kato? Where's Kirby? Stead fighting it out with Kirby. They're going around the looping corner of turn 9. Is he going to be pushing Kirby wide? No, he won't. Gives him enough fighting room. And let's just go to the tire compounds. It's going to be Zentatus on those hards, Marty on those mediums, J-Horse and Gab opting for the hards. They playing the long game. And Kurst going very, very aggressive on those set of soft compound tires. And that is lap 1 done and dusted. Already a couple of gaps out on track. Lucas making contact with War Daddy, has to concede positions and carry Cass already with a 5-second time penalty for speeding into pits. Taylor is leading the race and Marty is in that show. He's going to have to make those medium compounds work and try to sneak the overtake as soon as possible. He's got a purple sector 1. He's in the toe, he's up the gears, foot to the floor. He's gaining, but he's not gaining by enough because DRS will not be activated. Down the order we go. J-Horse already finding himself in P3. Gav has to concede. And here comes Pink Eye. Has to slam on the brakes into the chicane section of turn 6 and turn 7. Did he get the better exit? Yes, he did. But it looks like Gav has got a decent amount of top line speed. Pink Eye is gaining. Pink Eye swoops to the inside. And look at the defending of Gav. Pushing Pink Eye now to go around the long way around. It's going to be fighting around into turn 9. And Gav just sneaks the position. He stays in P4. Great defending there from Gav. He's denying the inside line for Pink Eye. Pink Eye fighting that all the way down into turn 9 as we now go into 13 and 14. Pink Eye is gaining. He's gaining. What about Bacardi? We've got yellow flags. And I think that's Derry who did make contact with the barrier. And resetting to track. Naughty from Derry. That might be a penalty coming his way. Utskar finding himself in P13. Carry Cass a long way down the order. But now with DRS activated and Marty leading this Grand Prix, missed that overtake. It's now Zantadas who will be hunted down by J-Horse. Here comes Gav and here comes Pink Eye. But Gav will have his own little bit of DRS to defend with. No, he won't. As here comes Pink Eye. You'll see the Papaya McLaren getting ever so close. And there he goes. Up into P4. Pink Eye slots the position. But now he will not have DRS to defend with. That luxury will go to Gav down in P5. And let's see. Pink Eye did get a beautiful exit. And Kirst is already 2.4 seconds down the road. He's gaining, but he will run out of straight. As Zantadas is now putting the pressure on Marty. Bacardi and Kirst going at it. Kirst going into turn 9. He's got the inside line. Just lifts on the throttle. Doesn't want to make contact with that Ferrari of Bacardi. And now the two teammates of Kato and Stead, they going at it. Look at Bacardi running wide. It opens up the door for Kirst. Little bit of wheel spin. Look at Stead. Thank you very much, he says. If you run wide, if you make the mistake, I'll just keep it on track and I will snatch that position. Kato goes up into P9. Little bit of wheel spin. And that will open up the door for Bacardi. Will he be aggressive going into one? It's a difficult corner to overtake. Just backs out. What a great move that was from Kato going up into P7. And Stead already with a 3-second time penalty. Going down the order, just missed it. As Marv has a little bit of a moment, he spins that Mercedes, and now he will drop like a rock, going from P11 to P12, 13, 14, and 15. Now down the back straight we go, as Zantadas will be sneaking that inside line. No, he just backs out because he knows he will have another helping off DRS as Kato and Kirst goes at it into the chicane section. That will cost Kato a little bit of time. He will get very bad exit. And will this open up the door for Bacardi now? Just misses out. But there he goes, Kirst, retaking that position of P6 even before they go into P9. And Bacardi wants to fight the long way around. Doesn't open up the door for Kato once again. As Kirst runs a little bit wide, you can see that harvest light flickering all the way. And Kato, very aggressive, makes a little bit of contact with Kirst. You can see he's very aggressive. And is those soft compound tires starting to lose performance because he's not making as much inroads as expected? Down the main straight we go. Kato getting up. Beautiful exit. Oh, more wheel banging going on. But I think he just wants to wait for the back straight. And a little bit of DRS going up the order. We have Marty and Zantadas still leading this race from P1. Marty will now have his own helping of a little bit of DRS. And now the battle can commence. You can see Marty, he's in the toe, he's in the slip. Zantadas will force him the long way around. He will concede that position and just defend from a very aggressive J-Horse. J-Horse still just waiting for the opportunity to strike. Now Marty will be vulnerable. It's Xantatus and Jails who will have DRS, and he will just have to defend, but I believe they will run out of straight. Pink Eye 1 second down the road of Jails, and Gav still sticking with him. It's a battle. It's Ferrari, Alpine, Mercedes, Alpine, and here comes Greb as well. Look at the lines, everybody opting for different lines as Stead takes a beautiful line and almost sneaks the position on Kirst, who just seems to be dropping off the pace as Bacardi retakes that P6 position. It's going to be a DRS train battle going for P6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And who's going to get it? Who's going to get that car up into P6 and potentially battle up front? Oh, Greb just almost making contact with Stead, but no harm, no foul there. Beautiful battling going on as Bacardi finds himself in P6. Very important to end as high as possible for the constructors, because Marty at AlphaTauri is leading this Grand Prix. And as things stand, AlphaTauri will now be the new leaders in the constructors. Look at this DRS train following. It's Marty from Xantatus, J-Horse, and Pink Eye just managing to get himself into DRS range right now and missing the battles down here. It's going to be two abreast going at it into the chicane section, almost wheel-to-wheel banging as Greb takes the narrow line. That's a little bit too narrow, and he will lose out on 2 positions as Kirst will have now DRS, but I think there was a little bit of contact, and Kirst will have to wait that little bit longer before he can make the move on that Red Bull. Xantatus and Marty going at it, and Marty has to concede the position to Xantatus. Marty drops to P2, and those hards will soon start to kick in. And look out for Xantatus at the end of this Grand Prix. If there's no safety cars, he will be blistering quick. Marty now in DRS. He needs to battle this way. Xantatus still on 72% battery to his disposal, followed by Marty, Jails, and Pink Eye. Almost out of DRS range. Jails on 56% battery. Pink Eye is limping. Gap ever so slightly dropping off the pace. He's out of DRS range. And Bacardi 5.8 seconds. Oh, and there goes Cano. Just managed to catch that for a brief moment. Luckily, no damage for him. Little bit of wheel spin going flat out through turn 3 and turns 4. But no harm, no foul. He does concede a lot of positions, but he doesn't have to pit as War Daddy now makes his way into the points at P10. J-Horse on the heels of Marty. Pink Eye falling ever so slightly off the pace on those medium compound tires. Xantatus and Marty still going at it, swapping positions. Marty retakes the lead of this Grand Prix on those set of mediums. Thank you very much, he says. And these drivers are absolutely brilliant, saving battery all the way, just making use of DRS. As Kato and War Daddy are going at it, 210 separates the two of them as he has a little bit of wheel spin, and Stead still going at it with Kirst. Bacardi's managed to break free from these guys, 3.3 seconds clear, and now it's Greb versus Stead versus Kirst, and War Daddy 2.8 seconds down the road. As we now make our way down the back straight, Marty will not go for the position around turn 5 because he knows he will have DRS with a beautiful exit. Excellent traction. He's in the toe. He's not dumping, but he does have DRS. And look at the sceneries. Xantatus retakes the lead of the race once again. J.O.'s doing an absolute beautiful job. Just staying with these guys. And I think Marty ran a little bit too wide. Yes, he did. Luckily, he does have DRS to defend off. And it seems as though he's got a little bit more top line speed than that of J.O.'s. Will he go around the inside? Will there be wheel contact? Look at this. J.O.'s has got the best seat in the house. Look, watching this battle unravel in front of his eyes. Xantatus stays in the lead of the race. Marty, I thought he might go for a little bit of sniff around the inside, but he doesn't. Look at the beautiful views that J.O.'s has. And he's waiting. If these two make contact, and lose out, then it will be Merry Christmas for Jails. He'll be leading this Grand Prix, just keeping his nose clean. Stead being pressurized by Kreb, and Kirst not too far down the road. War Daddy slowly but surely gaining. That gap was 2.8 seconds, now only 2.1. Pink Eye decided that it is time to pit and get rid of those medium compound tires. He's definitely going for the undercut. Now let's see. Now, Utkarsh making his way down the main straight. Where will Pink Eye rejoin this race? It's going to be tight. It's going to be battling him and Utkarsh of the Ferrari. But it looks like Pink Eye is going to get out just before him. No, it won't. Pink Eye rejoins this race with a little bit of clear air, and he's only in P11. Now he can up the pace and potentially go for that undercut. Utkar now up into P10. War Daddy up into P9. Kirst almost out of DRS from Kreb. And he's battling Stead all the way. Will he go around the inside? No, he won't. Going back down the front. And look at this. It's Marty versus Antatus. They're going at it. As Jails, beautiful driving from him, just waiting for his opportunity. There might be something on the cards for Jails if he can just keep patient and keep clean. Xantatus and Marty going now flat out through 15. Just dab on the throttle as they'll go through 16 to start the 10th lap of this race. It's Xantatus from Marty, from Jails, and there goes Gab, 4.1 seconds down the road. Kreb and Stead still going at it. Into 15 they go. Does he run a little bit wide? No, he doesn't. That's a little bit too narrow, and if Stead gets a better exit, as he does, this can be close going into one. Just backs out. It's a very difficult overtaking spot to get that overtake done. Utkarsh now going at it, and Kirst goes into the pits for a brand new set of hards. Pink Eye already up into P9. War Daddy 2.2 seconds down the road from Stead, who's going at it with Kirst. But now, Marty and Xantatus. These two absolutely cannot be separated. And look at the beautiful exit that both of them got. But with DRS, I think Marty will make it stick. And we have a virtual safety car. And now these drivers can recharge those batteries. And if this virtual safety car stays out for long enough, by the time Marty gets to the pit, can he get himself a little bit of a free pit stop and save himself a couple of seconds? So let's see, if this virtual safety car does not disappear, right now I think Marty can go for a brand new set of hards and potentially get this undercut. Will he make use of the virtual? No, he won't. Marty stays out. And what about Jails? Jails decides that it's time to get rid of these hards, and he wants to get himself a little bit of a free pit stop and save himself, let's say 4, 5, maybe 6 to 7 seconds. Every second is crucial. Fighting down in the front against Marty and Xantatus, as the virtual safety car is still active, and he will save himself tremendous time. And I believe if there's no safety cars, then Jayhorse will lead this Grand Prix. He needs to get out in front of Kreb. He's going to have to try his might. No, he's going to rejoin this race in P4. Yes, he gets out just ahead of Krebby. And that's exactly what I wanted to see. Jayhorse, what a great move. But will it be a little bit too much to ask? It's going to be 18 laps on those medium compound tires as the virtual safety car has disappeared and we are back under racing conditions. Xantatus versus Marty. They still going at it. Marty is gonna go the long way around. Little bit of wheel banging. Oh, keep it on track. Behave, you two. Absolute beautiful racing between these two drivers, not leaving a single inch, battling all the way. Xantatus still leading this Grand Prix from Marty. Gav, 4.9 seconds down the road, and I believe he will have... No, it's going to be Kirst and Katze with a drive-through penalty for not respecting the safety car, the virtual safety car. Stead still going at it with Krebby. War Daddy right on their heels. He caught up tremendously. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin. And that's going to open up the door for Pink. No, it won't. But now, War Daddy will drop out of DRS range, and Pink Eye on a brand new set of hards, he's going to be dangerous. As we now go down the back straight. Marty, batteries fully loaded. Xantatus, batteries fully loaded. And I believe he will just run out of straight. Not dumping battery. Little bit of dumping goes on, but he goes onto the brakes into the chicane section of turns 6 and turn 7. Who will have the better exit? And what about J-Horse? He will be catching with a tremendous pace, but he needs to lift. He needs to be very cautious on those brand new set of mediums because they have to go the distance now. Xantatus, Marty, Gav, who was third down in Singapore. Still third. JLC in P4. Pink Eye going at it with Krabi, and he moves himself back up into P6. Stead, on 11 lap old medium tires, will now have to defend from a very quick Pink Eye as he makes his way, fighting his way up the road. War Daddy up into P8. Bacardi battling out for P9. Marv, with a little bit of a spin, finds himself back up into the points. Kirst and Kato, of course, with those drive-through penalties. Have they been served? Yes, they have, but Kirst still has 11 seconds worth of penalties and Kato with 6 seconds. A little bit too much, but it's something they will have to deal with. Pink Eye going at it with Stead, and Pink Eye snaps the position. Hard to gain. Gary Cass with a 3-second time penalty. Marty and Xantatus are still going at it. The gloves are off. And now Marty, if he gets a better drive, which I don't think he will, because those 11 lap old mediums will be blistering by now. You can see that Xantatus is not fighting this because he knows those mediums will not have as much traction around these tight sweeping left, sweeping rights. He just needs to hold out a little bit more, and with the assistance of DRS, he'll be right back up into P1. When will Marty go into the pits? We have Pink Eye from Stead, from War Daddy, who's gaining, who's doing a stellar of a job. He did make wheel contact on the very first lap, already finding himself back up into P7. Xantatus and Marty. Oh, there we go. Marty now goes into the pits. Now let's see. Where is Pink Eye? He's making his way around the Yas Marine Hotel right now. Going into 15. J-Horse with a new fastest lap. Now Pink Eye going around the final corner. Where is Marty? Only coming out of the pits right now. And Pink Eye moves that McLaren up into P5, into P4. Where will Marty come out? It's going to be Stead who sneaks the position. What about War Daddy? But I don't think War Daddy will make it too difficult once his teammates... Yes, his teammate gets out just ahead of him. And that's exactly what he wanted. Just gets back ahead of Stead. And with brand new hards, he will have the traction. And I don't even think DRS will be any risk to him because Stead is also limping on battery. War Daddy. Gaining. It's wheel to wheel. Hard on the brakes. He will have the inside, but he just needs to take this very cautiously and give Stead enough fighting room. As he does, he will not have DRS. Yes, he will. War Daddy up into P6. It's an AlphaTauri 5-6 at the moment. Exactly what he wanted. And Marty got out at the perfect time. Now he can put the pressure up. J-Horse is 6.2 seconds off the road. A 127.5. What about J-Horse? 27.5. And look at this, a 25.1. So he's gaining by a tremendous amount of seconds. But of course, those medium tires have to go the distance. Stead goes into the pits. Greb goes into the pits. What about Marv? Will he decide that these hards has seen enough of this racetrack? No. Goes out for another lap. Greb making his way out of the pits. Stead making his way out of the pits. What about Marv now moving his way up into P8 and Bacardi P7. War Daddy and Marty followed now by Pink Eye, 8.7 seconds down the road, and J-Horse is catching. He is catching. I will be spectating these sector times. It's a 55.3, followed by, oh, a 55.2. So J-Horse just dropping on the pace a little bit, and I think that's tire management. He knows he's gaining on Zentators. He knows that Zentators still has to go into the pits and still catch J-Horse. He made use of the virtual safety car. Will it come into effect? Zentators decides that he has had enough of these hard compound tires. He goes into the pits, and your new race leader will now be J-Horse. J-Horse leads this Grand Prix. Let's see how many seconds he can put between him and Zentators. Zentators will have 5 laps, fresher tires. Gav also goes into the pits. Pink Eye will sneak this free position, pitting that much earlier. But he is on 7-lap-old hard compound tires. And Marty now making his way out into turn 3, flat out through 4, and Zentators now gets back onto the racetrack. Marty on 2-lap-old hards, and I think he will get the job done on this main straight. He's on 78% battery, but he is not dumping. Pink Eye will be vulnerable, if not down the back straight, definitely down the Marina straight, but no. Marty wants the position now, which means Pink Eye going over the chicane section a little bit too aggressive. Now he will have DRS. Will he be dumping all the way? Marty does have much better traction on those new set of hards, newish set of hards, and Pink Eye will run out of straight. Yes, he will. War Daddy putting the pressure on Bacardi. War Daddy still has to put Gav going into the pits. Brand new set of mediums. So J-Horse has a 10-second gap between him and Marty. There is 14 seconds between him and Zentators. And with 13 laps remaining, can J-Horse win this Grand Prix? You can see Zentators is now upping the pace. That was a purple sector 3 from him. Who went into the pits, and I think that is Bacardi from Team AlphaTauri, who goes into the pits, and a brand new set of mediums going onto that AlphaTauri, and he makes his way out of the pits. Now, what position will he get out? I believe he will rejoin this race in P11. Yes, definitely will rejoin in P11. We have yellow flags down into Sector 3. That will be cursed, making contact with the barriers. I don't see any damage on that Mercedes, and luckily no safety cars. J-Horse now making his way down the sweeping left-hander off turns 9. Flat out through 10, flat out through 11. Hard on the brakes as he goes into turns 12. And that is a safety car. And I think that plays into the hands of J-Horse. Will he jump into the pits? He is going to have to jump into the pits. Now, where is Marty? I believe the only drivers who does not have to pit is Zentators on 1 lap old mediums. What will Marty do? Marty decides, I will not go into the pits. Where is J-Horse? Only making his way out of the pits right about now. Marty is leading this Grand Prix. What about Zentators? It's going to be close between him and J-Horse. He makes his way out of the pits. Zentators will take P2 because here comes J-Horse out of the pits only now. And where's Pink Eye? He pitted. No! Who got the position? That was extremely close, but I think it went to none other than J-Horse. J-Horse is in P2, and Marty will be vulnerable now from not only J-Horse, but Zentators, Bacardi, and Pink Eye as well. Gav deciding that he wants to try his luck, going very aggressive. He wants to test 11 laps on the soft compound tire. And I think that was the wrong move from Gav. He's an extremely quick driver, but will these softs be humble to go 11 laps into this Grand Prix still. That is 2-lap old medium compound tires. Advantage, none other than Jaos on a brand spanking new set of medium compound tires. Will he have the pace? Because Pink Eye will definitely be a big threat on those brand new softs. Let's not forget about Bacardi. He is 4th in the championship. 72 points. He's only 5 points clear of Zantatus. Now, he's on 2-lap olds mediums, and it's still fresh, but I just think J-Horse Pink Eye will have that little bit of an advantage with those brand spanking new sets. Gav will have to be extremely careful under the safety car to save as much life as possible in these soft compound tires, as Kato gets another penalty, and he had a severe collision there. So, for interest's sake, let's just go to the position changes for this Grand Prix thus far. It's going to be Marty who wins himself 2 positions, leading this Grand Prix. He's going to be vulnerable on those hards. Jaos sneaking 2 positions. Zantatus starting in pole position, dropping 2. What a good race it has been from Pink Eye, getting himself up 4 positions. And look at Bacardi gaining 6 positions and staying. Solid performance from him, but of course those penalties will come into play. He gains 4 positions. Gab dropping 5, War Daddy dropping 5. And where would War Daddy have been if it had not been for that contact made into turn 2 on the very first lap of this race? Marv gains 4 positions. Lucas dropping 4. Utgar gaining 1. Derry dropping 6. Gas dropping 6. Kato gaining 1. And Kareb also gaining 1, starting from the very back of this grid. Have a great one, Brett, and I hope the football goes very well, my friend. As we just wait for Kareb and Kato and all the other drivers to rejoin the back of this pack, I believe the safety car will be out for at least 1 more lap. All these soft compound runners will have to be extremely gentle with these softs because they have to go 10 laps. Is that a big ask for the soft compound tire to go 10 laps? We will have to wait and see. Of course, they will be extremely aggressive on the restart, maybe gaining a couple of positions, but on the long run, those tires will certainly lose performance against those on the hards and the medium compound tires. We have Marty leading the Grand Prix. Can he fend off a very quick Jails, Zantatus, Pink Eye, Bacardi, and even Gav that can be a threat if those softs just cling on to its life? The safety car will be in by the end of this lap, and we will have 9 laps of racing remaining. Ten laps into this Grand Prix, and I have to say, a definite contender for driver of the day thus far, having an extremely brilliant and patient race. Very smart strategically is none other than Jails. In that Alfa Romeo of his, I think with the race Jails had tonight, he is a definite contender to be winning this Grand Prix here tonight. In this entire season of Season 1, Jails has not seen the podiums thus far. He has not seen the front row of the grid. No, he has seen the front row of the grid. He's got 1 pole position next to his name thus far. But he hasn't been on the podium, and he also hasn't won a race yet. Can this be the evening where J-Horse gets onto the top step of the podium? I am definitely backing him to be on the podium, but let's see if he's got the pace to be on to P1. We will be spectating Marty to see when he will get us back under racing conditions. As we now move into the very, very fast right-hander of turns 11. Marty takes us through into the 90 degree of turns 12. The sweeping left-hander of turns 13. And when will he get us back under racing conditions? We're waiting. J-Horse does not want to be caught napping. And I believe after this turn, it's going to be into turns 15 and now. Wait for it. And it's 3, 2, 1, go. And we are back under racing conditions. Marty gets a little bit of wheel spin and J-Horse was not caught napping at all. We are back under racing conditions. Now, how long will it be until J-Horse does make the move on Marty? I believe he will. Those 7-lap mediums, hards can go the distance, but those softs will be, those mediums will be so much better. Now, just look at the traction that J-Horse will have. Xantatus right on his rear. And look at this. Marty is limping for pace. Already J-Horse is leading the Grand Prix. J-Horse takes the lead. Can Marty defend from Xantatus? Yes, he does. Now, J-Horse will need Marty to defend for all his might. Look at Bacardi's going aggressive, losing out to Gav. Xantatus is dumping battery all the way. He's already down to 45%. Marty will force him the long way around. Marty runs wide. Marty has to concede one more position. No, he doesn't. Brilliant defending from Marty. And that's helping J-Horse all the way to the bank. Xantatus runs a little bit wide. Wheel contact was made with Pink Eye. Gav sneaks through. Gav is up into P4. And J-Horse already 1.3 seconds out, down into the sunset. J-Horse have a new fastest lap. That was a 22.3. We have yellow flags. Pink Eye lost out. Little bit of wheel contact with Xantatus. He's back up into P5. Gav finds himself in P4. Xantatus now trying to make the move on Marty. Marty was still with 84% battery, and Xantatus is now dumping. He is already down to 40. J-Horse 1.7 seconds clear. Stead and Bacardi. No, Stead and War Daddy going at it. This is a decent drag race. Going all the way down into turn 6 and turn 7. Little bit of wheel banging going on. But War Daddy gets the traction. He gets the position. Xantatus has to concede a position to a very quick and blistering Gav. But I think those softs will drop off in about 3 to 4 laps time from now. Marty still clinging on with his life to P2. War Daddy going at it. With who does he go at it? He goes at it with Stead. Stead trying to sneak the position, but War Daddy with a lot of traction stays in P7. DRS will now be activated as we go down the order. Krabby. What about Carrie Kaz going into the pits? And he will snatch the fastest lap of this race if he doesn't retire in the pits. 2.3 seconds clear is J-Horse. Marty will now be pressurized by Gav with a little bit of assistance of DRS coming his way right now. He goes out of the toe. He's up the gears, foot to the floor, and he goes up into P2, but he still has that penalty. But here comes Marty. No, here comes Xantatus. My mistake, sorry. It's two abreast going at it. A lot of wheel banging going on, but look at the traction of Xantatus with a little bit of helping of DRS of himself. Gav will be vulnerable. Xantatus has to make the move right now. As he does, he goes onto the brakes, down up into turn 9. He's up into P2. Now the hunt begins with 6 laps of racing remaining. Gav will now be pressurized by Pink Eye and by Marty. He defends well. Marty goes a little bit wide, pushes Pink Eye, forces him wide. He goes wide again. He just backs out. Pink Eye still battling for P4. What about Marty? Up into P5. Gav will now be extremely vulnerable. The hunt starts now. It's J-Horse versus Xantators. Does J-Horse have the pace for 5 more laps of racing to see the checkered flag wait for him for the first time as a race winner in PVR history? Can he write his name into the history books down here under the lights in Abu Dhabi? It's now a DRS train. Look at this ultimate scenes. It's a DRS train that forms from Stead to Katso to Dairy to Marv to Wudaddy. Just out of Ward, DRS is Bacardi from Marty. No, he does have DRS. It's Wardaddy that's limping, and that means Marv will have the pace in that Mercedes. Goes the long way around. Wardaddy will have to defend around turns 9. As he does have the traction, but he doesn't have the track position. Yes, he does. My mistake. Marv goes up into P7 now. So it's Bacardi from Marty, from Pink Eye, who's hunting down Gav. Who's hunting out down Xantators, who's only got 20% battery. And J-Horse, a 125.6, a 125.8. He was quicker around the last lap. He's got 4 more to go. Can J-Horse do it for Alfa Romeo? Everyone's hunting everyone. It is absolute hunting season down here in Abu Dhabi tonight. Xantators, Gav, here comes Pink Eye. Utkarp retires in the pit lane. Luckily for Gav, he does have DRS to defend with, but Pink Eye, he's gaining. He's got a little bit more top line speed because he's not dumping on battery. Will he go around the inside? Will he be late on the brakes? No. He will use that little bit of helping of DRS coming his way. Xantators on 20% battery. Gav on 23. Pink Eye is now dumping. He wants to get this move done right here, right now. Going into 9. Late on the brakes. Beautiful racing. Pink Eye goes up into the podium positions. When they go into turns 10, turns 11, onto the brakes for turns 12, he has wheel spin and he loses out. Pink Eye drops down the order. After making such an impressive move, he drops from P3 to down, not even in the points. Pink Eye will be dreading that mistake. Aggressive on the throttle, which means Gav is now back up into the podiums and Marty is on the hunt because Gav is out of DRS from Xantators with J-Horse still leading this Grand Prix. Gav is doing a beautiful job staying in DRS. He's on 25% battery. Marty is gaining. He's in the toe. He's going up the gears. But he will not make the move stick right now. He's going to wait for an extra helping of DRS. Kato going wheel to wheel with none other than Derry. No, is it Derry? It's his own teammate. Sorry, my mistake. And there Stead goes back up into P9. Up the order we go. Can Xantators defend off the rest of the pack? Doing a great job. Can Marty get himself back up into the podium? Almost makes a mistake. Here comes Bacardi as well. Bacardi now loses out. What will Marv do? Look at this battle unravel. Bacardi goes wide and Marv goes up into P5. Look at Gav. Look at Marty. And Xantators just has a little bit of breathing room because these two are going at it like never before. It's absolute scenes. It's War Daddy from Bacardi who runs wide once more. from Marv, who's had an absolute beautiful race, from Marty. And now Gav will be vulnerable. Kata retires from the race. We will not have a safety car because this race is almost done. As Marty gets a little bit of wheel spin, there goes Marv. Thank you very much. But Marty dumping, being pushed wide by Gav, goes around the outside, and Bacardi goes through. Here goes Bacardi. Bacardi's up into the podium positions. That's how you do it. You guys scruffle it out, and I'll just smooth sailing my way through. And if I've ever seen a smooth operator, it's none other than the Bacardi. Going up into the podiums. Gav drops. Daddy is into 5. He's battling it out. Now with Gav. Gav going a long way around. War Daddy goes up into P4. Oh, wheel banging going on. Will we see contact? Will we see drivers banging it into the barriers? Will we see more contact? Yes, we will. Gav retakes P4. Oh my goodness me. Well, there's no lost love out here tonight. Ma finding himself in P4 a couple of corners ago, drops to P7. Bacardi, who was cruising in P7, now up into the podium positions. Let's just look at the penalties. Bacardi still has 6 seconds to deal with. So he will drop. War Daddy is on for a podium. War Daddy is definitely on for a podium without any penalties going his way. Oh, War Daddy runs a little bit wide. He doesn't want that. He's got a lap and a half to go. J-Horse is now in the ultimate cruise control of his life, going up into into turns 12, into turns 13 and 14. Don't lose the rear, Bacardi. J-Horse. He's got one more lap to see himself cross the finishing line as a race winner in PVR. He's got 3.6 miles to go to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Going down the order, Xantatus, Bacardi, Gav, and War Daddy. War Daddy can get a podium in Abu Dhabi. Can he do it? Will we see team orders? Because Marty is leading the championship. Pink Eye battling his way back up into P9. Now down this back straight we will go. Gav on 11 lap all soft. He will not have the best traction. War Daddy is gaining. But he will run out of straight. Down the Marina straight is your race leader, who started in P3, none other than J-Horse. He goes around the sweeping left-hander of turns 9. He's flat out through 10, flat out through 11, onto the brakes, cruises into 12, dabs onto the throttle through 13, cruises through 14, attacking the apex on exit and entry. Now he will drive flat out through 15, and one more corner to go. He'll see the checkered flag wave. J-Horse, you're a race winner in PVR. What an absolute brilliant race. Race winner, fastest lap, and driver of the day. J-Horse, what an absolute brilliant race that was. Xantatus crosses the finish line for P2, but War Daddy goes into the podiums. He is up into P3. Marty, championship leader, will have to settle for P4. Great race from Gav, takes P5. Marv, P6. What about Bacardi? He'll go home for P7. Pink Eye, damage limitation after spinning out 4 laps before the end of this Grand Prix. Has to settle for P8. Stead comes home in P9, followed by Lucas, Kreb, Derry and Carrie Cass rounds off the grid. But hats off and respect to the man who was watching Xantatus and Marty battling it out for almost 12 laps, being patient, using his opportunity under the virtual safety car, going for a brand under the safety car for a new set of mediums. He got the pace, he had the drive, he had the patience, and now, for the first time, he's a race winner in PVR, Season 1, Round 11, making his way to the top step of the podium. What an absolute phenomenal drive that was from the man in Alfa Romeo, none other than J-Horse. Hats off and big congratulations. Xantatus gave him a lot of hassle, had great battles with Marty. And what about War Daddy? Making contact and obviously spinning out into the second corner of lap 1. But look where he is. He's on the podium. And that is just proof that the race is not over until the fat lady has sung. There is your final classifications for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The fireworks are going off, and it's none other than J-Horse who can celebrate that win. It's maximum points going his way, race win, and the fastest lap. Driver of the day, getting J-Horse. Joining him on the podium, Xantatus and War Daddy. War Daddy, what an absolute stellar of a race, drops to the bottom of the grid and fights his way as he can P3. What a great race it was from Marty. P4, Gav comes home in 5, followed by Marvin 6, Bacardi, who's currently 4th in the championship and also leading the constructors. Not anymore, because with that 3-4 from AlphaTauri, they will be new constructors leaders for Season 1. Pink Eye Damage Limitation has to go with P8 after spinning it 4 laps before the end of the race. Stead comes home in P9, and I ran out of time. Ladies and gentlemen, what an absolute phenomenal race that was. Don't want to single out one person, but absolute madness from the big dog, J-Horse. Great patience, great strategy, and he was rewarded with maximum points for himself and team Alfa Romeo. Members of the PVR community, as always, it's been a pleasure hosting your race, commentating on your racing, and hopefully, if the schedule's not too difficult, I will see you guys same time, same place next week. Be blessed, and this is E. Moller signing out.